Hi, my name is Jessica Martin, and I'm going to talk to you about how uniforms do not stop violence inside of schools. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the history of uniforms and how these came about, and then I'm going to talk about how people with the people's personal testimonies about interviews, including mine, about uniforms. And the last thing I'm going to do is talk about how violence can actually be solved or at least contained inside of high school. So as early as the 1950s, the idea of school uniforms has been tossed around. So people have battled back and forth between whether uniforms should be enforced in high schools, public high schools, or not. So I demonstrated that by this picture, and you can see where this picture says yes or no school uniform. So it shows like a battle going back and forth between whether or not these uniforms should be mandatory. According to educationbug.com, in the late 1980s, uniforms began to gain a momentum as a way to stop violence inside of schools. School uniforms seem to be a growing trend among high school students, and they're supposed to bring peace into the community of the high school, and it's supposed to stop bullying between the students, and it's supposed to stop like all that kind of confrontation and stop separation in between the popular kids and not popular kids, people picking on each other. It's supposed to stop all that. But I believe that uniforms are not the answer to stopping violence inside of schools. Keeping these points in mind, the purpose of the uniforms are to make the students all dress the same, so they can all look the same, so that students will have no expression of individuality throughout what they wear. In doing this, it's supposed to stabilize the 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 level of social class, so that people can determine whether you're rich or whether you're poor, whether you have money, whether you don't have money, all that kind of stuff. It's supposed to be stabilized, so nobody can get picked on or anything like that. But the truth is, in reality, a jock is going to be a jock, the cheerleader is going to be a cheerleader, and nerd is going to be a nerd. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're wearing. There's still going to be that separation in between the group of students. Yahoo Voices states that the idea that school uniforms bring it in to gang violence is false. First of all, gang violence and other types of violence are not determined by what you wear. I mean, somebody's not going to beat you up over you having something on. The reality is, if somebody doesn't like you or another person, they're just not going to like you for who you are. I mean, it's not about what you're wearing, or if you're wearing uniform or not wearing uniform. That person's not going to like you to begin with. Sociologist David of Educational World helps us understand that requiring students to wear uniforms have no direct effect of violence, behavior problems, or school problems. And secondly, Emily, who's a 13-year-old student, she says that they think uniforms will solve every problem, but if they would understand, being forced to wear uniforms can make a more rebellious teen even more rebellious. Now, everybody's saying this is what normally required of a regular uniform. You either have khaki pants, or most people wear khaki or blue pants, and whatever your school colors are, that's the color of the shirts you wear. So this is normal. And then this girl, Emily, is talking about rebellious teen. She might take up her skirt where it's mid of her thigh, and then have a V-neck, and then not really wearing what she's supposed to be wearing. So this is what a rebellious teen would look like. And according to my personal experience, I've been to school where I had to wear a uniform, and I've also been to school where I didn't have to wear uniforms, and I viewed that the violence level was still the same. I couldn't tell any difference between what I was wearing brought down the violence level, what I wasn't wearing brought down the violence. I thought it was completely the same. So there's no real solution to stopping violence in schools, but I think that something can attribute that more than uniforms is that if parents would enforce discipline inside their houses, and if parents would teach their children at home how to act in public or what to do when they go out, then this could stop violence inside of schools. In conclusion, school uniforms may help stop violence, but it is not the real solution to stopping violence inside of schools. Teachers and educators need to communicate, and they need to get together and find more research and find other evidence and find more things that they can come up with to how to stop violence inside of schools instead of forcing these students to wear uniforms. Thank you.